Today we're going to take you to the sun-drenched shores of the Eastern Mediterranean and introduce you to a street food that originated in Egypt. Today we're going to cook falafel. So, vamos a cocinar. Let's get cooking. So we start the recipe with 170 grams or 1 cup of chickpeas, dried chickpeas. Don't use canned chickpeas, they're too soft. You'll end up with a mush. So dried chickpeas are the way to go. You may know them as garbanzo beans. So 170 grams into a bowl. Cover those with water. When you're adding the water to the bowl, remember that these can double or sometimes even triple in size. So you want plenty of water in there for them to absorb. And we're going to set those aside for between 8 and 10 hours, or ideally overnight. So these have been soaking overnight. And just to give you some idea, that's how it started off. And this is what they have become now. So you can see how much they've increased in size by. So what we're going to do is we're going to drain the water off these and just set them to one side. Whilst the garbanzo or chickpeas are drying off, what we're going to do is we're going to peel 3 cloves of garlic, and we are going to peel and quarter a white onion. You can use red onion as well if you prefer the taste of red onion. We're going to use white onion today. Okay, we now need to run the garbanzo beans, the chickpeas, through the food processor. I tend to do it separately. Then you can judge the texture of the chickpeas that you're blitzing. And what you're looking for is, to start off with, you're looking for a coarse grain on the chickpeas. And we achieve this just simply by pulsing them. After 4 or 5 pulses, it's good to open up the processor, scrape down the sides. Carry on pulsing. The reason we pulse is because it gives us greater control over it. If you just hit mix or liquidize or whatever you have, the functions that you have on your food processor, you've got no control over where the chickpeas are ending up. So that's roughly where we want it to be. You can see it's quite coarse, nicely chopped all off the edges. So we're going to put that into this bowl. Okay, next into the blender. Of course, no need to wash the blender because everything's going into the same place. We want a good bunch of coriander or cilantro. Break that up in. Include the stalks in there. You want a nice bunch of dill. Again, include the stalks. You also want a good bunch of fresh flat leaf parsley. If you include the stalks from the parsley, it can get a little bit woody. So where possible, we'll pick the leaves off. The beauty of cooking in the Mediterranean is that we are blessed with lots and lots of fresh, fragrant ingredients. I mean, you just smell that, the parsley, the coriander, the dill. It's absolutely delicious. Right, okay, in we go with our onion. 1 white onion quartered. 3 cloves of garlic. No need to chop them up. Your food processor will do that for you. Okay, herbs. We have 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and that is fantastic. We were lucky enough to visit Marrakesh in Morocco earlier this year, and we loaded up our spice jars with produce from Marrakesh, and you can really tell the difference between store-bought and fresh spices. So that's 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of flaked sea salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. We're going to pulse these, and then we're going to add the chickpeas. So again, 5 or 6 pulses, scrape down the sides. Okay, so you can see the ingredients is now well and truly combined. So we're going to add the chickpea mixture back in. And then we're going to continue pulsing. So this time we're looking for a sandy texture, coarse sandy texture with everything combined together. As always, scrape down the sides. So this is what we're looking for. A coarse sandy texture. Once we've achieved that, this is going to go into the bowl. Now we've got the texture we want, we're just going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, not baking soda. The reason that we add baking powder and not baking soda is that baking powder contains an acid, so when it becomes in contact with liquid, it creates carbon dioxide, which causes the light fluffiness of the falafel at the end, whereas baking soda doesn't contain that acid, and it requires a natural acid from what you're adding it to activate it. So we cover it and pop it into the refrigerator for an hour. There are lots of different sauces you can have with your falafel. Of course, it's personal taste. My particular favourite is tahini sauce. So we're going to make a very quick tahini sauce, and it starts off with tahini paste. And tahini paste is made from toasted sesame. So you'll need a small blender into which we add a generous helping of tahini paste, 2 garlic cloves, which we're just going to crush. I'm going to peel. If you like it a little bit more garlicky, you can add more garlic, of course. The zest of 1 lemon. Just use your zester. And we're going to take 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which is roughly the juice of half a lemon. You want a pinch of sea salt flakes, and then we're going to just combine those flavours quickly. Now what we want to do is create an emulsification. We're going to do that by adding some iced water. So this should turn the paste into a nice creamy sauce. There we go. You have to taste it, make sure it's correct. Oh wow, it is certainly correct. That is delicious. So it's had about an hour in the fridge. Take the cover off. And all we're going to do now is with our hands is we're going to form. And you can do whatever you want. So you can do medallions, you can do rounds, just slightly smaller than a golf ball. Okay, so to our left hand side now we have a pan with some oil, about 3 or 4 centimeters depth of oil, and you want an oil with a high smoke point. We're using sunflower oil today, but you could use avocado oil. Wouldn't suggest you use olive oil, that hasn't got a very high smoke point, which means it can get to a better temperature and is much better for shallow frying, the way what we're going to do now. So the sweet spot you're looking for is 176 degrees C or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So take our falafel ball into the frying pan. Cook a few at a time. So on average at 176, they'll take between 2 and 3 minutes. You just get them in the golden brown. It's a nice golden brown colour, straight out of the pan onto the kitchen paper so they can drain off. Absolutely fantastic. Look at those. So they're crispy and golden on the outside, herby and delicious on the inside. When you dip them in the sauce, I am not a vegetarian, but if I was a vegetarian, this would definitely be one of my go-tos. Who would like one?